Now that we've finished installing all of our detail pieces, we can install the larger panels. Those go a lot faster than all the wrapping does. Leaving about 1/8 of an inch grout line with about maybe 1/16 of an inch variance, we install our panels in horizontal rows. Wipe all of your panels down to make sure you've removed any bubbles and there's no excess glue left on the material.
Cutting around outside moldings can be relatively simple if using the right techniques. First, apply a full sheet over the top of the molding. Starting from the very edge of the molding, trim along the top edge using a sharp wall covering knife. Trim away the excess. Then trim around the outside edge. Fold the piece over and trim the inside. Over the window, we're going to use an overlap cut method. First, find your edge for the piece underneath with your finger. Then define it using a roller. Finally, using a straight edge and a sharp wall covering knife, trim the panel out. Make sure to wipe away any excess glue using a damp sponge and smooth the pieces down. It may be necessary to level a piece by trimming. Use a straight edge and a very sharp wall covering knife. Trim to the wall board and use a damp sponge to wipe away the excess. If your piece is short, you can level it by stretching it. While the piece is wet, simply grab the edge and pull. Make sure to wipe away any excess glue and smooth out any bubbles. Your edges will look rough in some areas, but once we start the grouting process, all of this will end up looking natural.
Here we are the following day. This has given our rounded edges enough time to cure before the grouting process. As you can see, we have a few edges that are a little bit rough, but that's why the answer to most of your questions about weathered stone will be grout. You'll want to put clean release tape against any painted surface before you're grouting. Also, go through and if you find any long strings that are still hanging out from the seam areas, go ahead and nip those off. It'll make your grouting process a lot easier. Grouting your inside corners can either be done with a pastry bag or sometimes it's fun just to use your hand. Basically, using your rubber float, you'll go ahead and pay attention closely to your seams. Then using a high angle, pull all the grout back off the wall. Again, focusing in on the seams with the high angle, pull it back off the wall. Not flat, but high. Wiping is much of a two-step process. Keeping clean water, we'll focus first on our inside corners. Always using a very light pressure, hardly any at all, in the first scrubbing process. And then the second wipe is our cleaning wipe. And hardly, again, any pressure whatsoever. And there you have it, grouted walls.
Occasionally there will be additional cracking along the outside corners. Rub the grout into these areas and clean with a wet sponge. This will finish the product delivering a natural stone look.